I do understand why they would want to know these things, but I can tell that it's going to really ruffle some feathers for some people. If you're like me, you've probably heard about this new ETIAS traveler program that's going to be implemented in 2024 for anyone wanting to visit the EU. I've gone through the entire ETIAS website so you don't have to. We're going to be breaking down what is the ETIAS program, does it apply to you, and what the application process will look like. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. We're getting into it right now. What's up? My name is Staci, and I've been traveling internationally since I was 15 years old, and I'm nearly 40. So I've got a lot of information up here that I want to share with my female travelers who want to start crossing destinations off their bucket list today. If that includes you, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you part of my online travel family. Okay, I have honestly tried to record this a couple of times, and I'm re-recording it now because I'm trying to be as concise as possible. It's a lot of information, and concise is just not my strong suit. Okay, I love to talk. So 3 time's a charm, 3 is my lucky number. We're going to go through what this program is, does it apply to you, and what the application process will look like. Okay, so for those of you who have or haven't heard about the ETIAS program, it is essentially a pre-screening for anyone wanting to travel within the Schengen area of the European Union. We'll get into what the Schengen area is in just a moment, but ETIAS stands for European Travel Information and Authorization System. I've made a lot of notes here because I was not going to remember that. Now, the 2 top questions I keep getting in my DMs and in my comments is this a visa program? And is this just like a tax grab, a money grab for the European Union? The answer to both of those is no. According to the ETIAS website, it says that it was created to improve the safety and security of not only the visitors traveling to the European Union, but also the people who actually live there. Essentially, you apply like a pre-screening. They will double check that information that you give them across a couple of databases that are international databases. Then they will accept you and say, okay, yeah, go ahead and make your travel plans. Or they'll say, no, we need some more information, or you need to do an interview. They're trying to cut down on criminal activity and shenanigans from tourists that are coming in from other countries. That's going to make it safer for you as a traveler, and it's going to make it safer for the locals that live in these countries. The cost for this will be €7, and it's good for 3 years, or unless your travel documents that you applied for expire within that 3 years. So maybe your passport expired or something. This is only good for short-term stays. So if you are going to be coming over to the Schengen area and traveling for long-term, maybe you're doing like a study program, you're going to be working there, or you're just trying to move there to live, you're going to need to apply for a separate visa that allows you to do that. So that has nothing necessarily to do with this. That's a completely separate situation.
It's not currently an active program. So if I'm putting this video out somewhere around August, September 2023, as of right now filming, we do not have a start date for this program. It was supposed to start January 1st, 2024, and they've since pushed that back. So we do not have a date at this time. There is no way for you to apply. I'm using my hands, y'all. I just want you to know this information. That way, when it is time to apply, you already know what to do.
Now, if you don't travel like very frequently or for long periods of time, you may not have heard of something called the Schengen Area. The Schengen Area is essentially a grouping of about 30 countries in the EU that all act like borderless borders. Obviously, these are individual countries. They do have borders, but it's kind of like they've come together and said, okay, if someone wants to travel to one of these countries, then we've sort of approved you to travel to all of the countries freely as much as you want to, no more than 90 days in a 180-day period. So no more than 3 months in a 6-month time frame. Now, speaking of Europe, I just spent 2 months traveling Europe, everywhere from France to Belgium, the Netherlands, but the country I fell in love with was Italy, and I'm hosting a group trip in 2024, and I want you to be there. Let me tell you about it.
I'm here at Vatican City. This is officially my 21st country to mark off my list, and you know what? You need to mark it off your list as well. Come with me to Italy, May 16th through the 21st, 2024. We're gonna come here to Vatican City. We're gonna see the Sistine Chapel, St. Peter's Basilica. We're going to the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, the Pantheon, and so much more. And then we're gonna go to Florence and eat all the gelato and see all the art that you can handle. You do not wanna miss this trip, and I can't wait to see you there. Click the link down in my description below or in the pinned comments and come with us on a trip of a lifetime. Ciao.
Okay, so who should apply for the ETIAS program? I'm about to throw a couple of graphics up on the screen, so if you need more time to review them, just hit the pause button. If you are currently a national in one of these countries on the screen, then this program will apply to you. These countries on the screen are currently visa exempt to travel to the EU, the Schengen area. So if you see your country on the screen that you are currently a national or a citizen of, this will apply to you if, new graphic, if you are trying to travel to one of these countries in the Schengen area. So if those two bullet points line up, you are a national of the countries on the first graphic, and you are trying to travel to one of the countries on this graphic, this application process will apply to you. Now, the ETIAS website does break down a handful of additional countries that are currently visa exempt that may require a little bit more documentation to be approved for this program. I'm going to leave a link to the ETIAS website down in the description of this video. That way you can go and read this stuff for yourself, stay updated on the changes of this program. What will the application process look like? This is not going to be something that you're going to need to make an appointment for. Thank goodness. You just apply online, and you're going to need to provide this information similar to if you were applying for a passport here in the US. Your name, your date of birth, your place of birth, your nationality, your home address, your parents' name, email, and phone number. And of course, the travel documents numbers, maybe on your passport or whatever travel document that you're using to apply. Now, this next one is weird to me, and I really, really, really want to know your thoughts. Education and occupation. What does that matter? What does that matter? Who cares if I maybe didn't graduate high school, or if my occupation is, I don't know, who cares? Who cares what I do for a living? That one, those two are very strange to me. I don't understand what your level of education and your occupation have anything to do with whether you're going to be a good human being. I really want to know what you think about this. I think it's weird. I don't agree with it. I don't know why your level of education and occupation really matters. I think it's stupid. Next, you're going to have to go through your travel information. I usually have to do this for every country that I go to. They just want to know when your arrival date is, your departure date, and what hotel you're going to be staying at. And then these next three you may not like, but I do agree with. They want to know your criminal history. They want to know your travel history to any criminal or war zone countries, and they want to know if you've ever been kicked out of a country. I can level with those three questions because, again, they're trying to increase security for me as the traveler and for the locals that live there. And I kind of feel like if you have like maybe you're a convicted felon or something and you did something really, really bad, maybe they might want some more documentation, or they might want to do an interview with you or something. Of course, if you've ever been kicked out of a country, what were you doing that got you kicked out? And that, I think, maybe increases your likelihood that you may get up to some shenanigans while you're visiting these countries. I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm rambling. I do understand why they would want to know these things, but I can tell that it's going to really ruffle some feathers for some people. Now, as far as the €7 to apply for this, if you are under 18 or over 70, you're exempt from the fee. Congratulations. Also exempt from paying the €7 are family members of EU citizens and family members of non-EU nationals. So there you are. Most applications are approved online and in minutes. They say that others may take up to 4 days. That is the rule. The exception may be that some applicants, depending on what you've put on your application, again, if you've just been to a war zone, if you have a criminal history, maybe you've been kicked out of a country or something, they might need some additional documentation from you. They may need you to schedule an interview, it says, and that all could take up to about 30 days. So if I were you, I would apply for this program as soon as you know that you may be traveling to the Schengen area, and just get it done, get it over with, and don't have to think about it and have the stress of it weighing on you when it's time to travel. Once you apply, you're going to get a confirmation email that says, hey, we got your application. And then once you're approved or rejected, you are going to get another email that says, hey, you're good to go, or no, we need some more documentation from you. Now, just like when you get your passport, you need to go through the information on your application approval with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure your name is spelled right, the date of birth is right, your passport number is right, or whatever you're using for your travel. So make sure everything on there is correct, because if you don't, and maybe something's misspelled or something doesn't line up, when you go to the border to try to get into that first country, they're going to say, oh, we're not going to let you in because these documents don't add up. So just make sure everything is correct and there's not any clerical errors that need to be corrected. If you find an error on their website, there is a link that you can click on to go get that error corrected before your travel date. Again, the authorization is good for 3 years or until your travel documents expire that you use to apply for the program with. So, like I said, if I apply for the program today and I get approved, but my passport expires next year, then this authorization will also expire because the authorization is attached to your passport, which leads me into now you've been approved, what's next? So once you're approved, your authorization is attached to your, let's just say, passport or whatever travel document that you use. Once you arrive to the border, you should be able to just show your passport like you normally would. This authorization is going to be attached to that passport or your travel document. You will still see the border agent. They'll be like, hey, what you doing? What you coming into the country for? You're like, hey, I'm a vacationer. Can't wait to see the Eiffel Tower. And then they will let you into the country if all of your travel documents look great. And you'll just like travel Europe the way you always have. So you should not have to take that approval or authorization. You shouldn't have to print anything out and take it with you or show proof that you were authorized. That being said, if I were you, I would either download your authorization approval like a PDF and just keep it on your phone or whatever so you have it, or print it out if you're old school like me and like to print things out, just so you have it just as a backup. I don't think you're going to really need it. This is really worst case scenario, but it's always good to just be prepared, CYA, cover your butt, and not have that weighing on you when you're trying to get into the country and you've spent all this money to get over there. You can apply for this program on behalf of someone else if maybe you are the legal guardian over somebody, or maybe like you've got kids and they're underage. I will put the ETIAS website link down in the description below so that you can review that page and figure out what you need to do that. Don't forget, if you are wanting to travel to Europe and Italy is on your bucket list, I am doing my group trip to Italy. We are going to be going to Rome. We're going to be going to Florence. We're going to get guided tours of all of these hot spots that you want to see and cross off your bucket list. We're going to eat food. We're going to drink wine. We're going to do all the things, and I would love to have you on my group trip. I'm going to put a link down to that group trip down in the description below. Come to Italy. Florence is my now new favorite place. London's been bumped. I don't know how it happened. Fell in love with Florence, and I want to show you my favorite city in the whole wide world. Let me know if you have any additional questions about this. Let me know if I missed anything that you need some clarification on. They, again, do not have a start date for this ETIAS program. It's going to be sometime in 2024, and as soon as they get a start date for it, I'm going to make another video and let y'all know if any of these rules or application process items have changed. That is the video. Thank you for sticking around with me this entire time. Hit that subscribe button for updates on this ETIAS program and to see my travel adventures, and I will see y'all later. Bye.